So if you don't have a, this table doesn't have a sticky note. So please take a moment to write that opportunity. It could be one word, it could be one sentence, and I just want you to reflect. Sorry, let me repeat my instructions or my guide. So we're just taking 1 minute to think about what opportunity as a young person. I believe we are all young people in this room, and if you're not a young person, you work for young people. There's a lot of discussion in this table. So guys are discussing, am I young? By the way, to be a young person in Kenya, it's 18 to 35. How many 34.9999? Yes, that one. So please, if you are between ages of 18 and 35, please take 1 minute to reflect. What is that one opportunity that you would want to have as a young person? Or if you think maybe you have gotten that opportunity, what is that opportunity that you got as a young person that you would want another young person to access? Have we already done that? Have you already done that? I believe we are done, and I think for us this meeting is for us to reflect, because the reason why we are here is to identify what are those opportunities for young people and how do we come together as different stakeholders to be able to advance the youth agenda. So I didn't introduce my name. I didn't introduce myself. My name is Bukiburu. I'm the convener, or rather the co-convener of the Youth Survey Organization Consortium. My other co-convener is not here yet. Her name is Nerima Wako. She was attending a funeral, but she's on her way here. And then we have assistant co-convener or deputy co-conveners. Erastus, agenda. Erastus, please wave to everyone. That's Erastus from Footprints for Change. We also have Dennis Mungo. Please wave. Yes, that's also the deputy co-convener. So we are excited to host you this evening, and we're excited. It has been a 1-year journey of YSO, and we've gotten to that point where we think that we need more youth serving organizations to come on board to work with us to be able to see how best do we create more opportunities for young people. And I don't want to go into the sharing the journey of YSO, but mine is really to welcome you, to say karibu sana, and thank you for working with us through the journey. The reason why you're here is because you've worked with us one way or another, and if maybe you've not worked with us, we've already anticipated working together in future. So at this point, I would like to welcome Atieno to do a spoken word, and then we'll proceed. Karibu sana. A lot of applause for Shiki. I was a bit confused. I was like, Shiki is approaching me, and I said Atieno. So anyway, Karibu sana, Shiki. Hi guys. My name is Shiki, and hi. My name is Shiki, and I am so grateful to be here. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for the very beautiful job that you do in the communities, and you holding space for the young people in the communities. We appreciate it a lot. And the two pieces that I want to perform today is just highlighting some of the very real and lived experiences that young people from the community I come from go through every day, or at least a number of times. I live in Kibera, a place called Olympic, and when you talk about matters, extrajudicial killings and police brutality, then it's something that happens frequently in that community. So I just want to highlight that. Thank you. Bullets piercing unarmed bodies. Bodies laying bloodily in these streets free. Free is a fallacy spread to us with shackled feet. Feet tamarking up and down to pay these taxes. Taxes is the monies that should be used to pay you, and I still have to pay you to protect me from you. Irony. I know that you have a job to do. I know that you have to come and work for we ungrateful humans every day, get called at every time and any day, and no monthly pay can compensate for the work that you slaved for. But it still doesn't get rid of the fact that you are a bully. Bullets through air, bullets footplates pulling, legs of dead bodies to clear streets, then who we? Going to run to if not you, huh? Then who we? Going to run to if not you, huh? Then who we? Up in arms, up our arms, hold our arms, take up arms, arms in the air, arms shackled feet, arms scared of me, you picked on me, you picked on me, on bended knees, hands folded neat, looking up and pleading to stop with the bullets, piercing unarmed bodies. Bodies laying bloodily in these streets, free, free is the fallacy spread to us with shackled feet, feet running up and down to pay these taxes. Taxes is the money that should be used to pay you, and I still have to pay you to protect me from you. That's what I call irony. He was 9 years old. A young boy that looked up to his big brother and was always at his tail everywhere he went. His older brother was the only male role model he had, and having no father around, you can imagine how he felt. He was 9 years old when he first saw drugs and money exchange hands. And with it came the fast life of women and cars, parties and drugs, hustle and guns. He was 9 years old when the cops put a target on his brother's gang. Big brother wasn't in it for the long run. He had a plan. Make enough cash to get his family out of the slums. Make cash, sell dope. Big cash, repeat mode. Cycles, money territory, and he still had to do this with his 9-year-old at his back. Designated babysitter. He didn't mind because he loved his brother, but he paid it bitter. Cops bust the hideout. Everyone scatters left and right, bullets flying mighty high, and with 6 bullets to his chest and 3 at his back, he died. That day, a mother lost 2 of his sons, one to the grave and one to the law. But the only mistake this boy had was that he was at the wrong place and at the wrong time.
This life is not your own, and you're not in control. When you come from the places that I come from, this life is not your own. He was 19 years old. Big dreams, but a little chance to get out of his miseries. He walked the talk. He fought his wars. He was tired of seeing his mother cry every time she lost a job. He didn't want to enter no gangs, do no drugs. He wanted out the right way, no strings attached. So he decided to get a job. Anything that would help his situation. I should let you know that he had dreadlocks. Let's call it intuition. He wanted, after the struggle and the hustle was over, he would become an artist, dancehall to be specific. So the struggling and the hustling begins. The learning and the struggling persists. But he still has to put his chin up because that's how kings are built. One fateful night at 9 p.m., a woman was robbed at gunpoint 5 minutes away from where this 19-year-old boy was. And the only thing this woman could remember about the person who robbed her was that he had dreadlocks. And so as this thief raced and the mob chased, guess who the mob caught instead? His life ended in between 2 tires and a liter of gasoline burning up in flames, pleading up to a crowd that wanted justice with rage, but the only mistake this 19-year-old boy had was having dreadlocks. This life is not your own, and you're not in control when you come from the places that you come from. This life is not your own. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shiki, for that wonderful piece. Another round of applause for Shiki. Thank you so much. You can see how much young people have dreams. They have plans for the future, but we are judged harshly by the society. So I would also like to recognize the presence of our partners. Forum C, just wave. Action Aid, FIC. Also, YSO Consortium is made up of 15 organizations. Please, Yasa, just wave wherever you are. Yasa? Dada Power? Youth Alive? Global Platform? ELF? Siasa Place? Haki Africa? Run for Office? Y Act? Power 254? VSO? EYP? Footprint for Change? And lastly, Africa Youth Trust. Yeah, great. So as Muki had mentioned, 1 year ago, we wouldn't envision that we'd be here. I remember we would walk in the meeting just 4 of us, me, Buki, Nerima, and the teacher. Who would have thought, but who is God? Yeah, so I would like us to go to the next segment, which is the YSO journey, just how far we've come from, and what has the journey looked like from where we were last year to date. Please, let's welcome Buki, our co-convener, to take it away.
So guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Judy.
I think she also forgot to recognize very important partners that we have in the house. So we have the government of Kenya represented in this meeting. So I'd like to recognize Ms. Deborah Bubi. She's the chair, Youth Advisory Board at the National Youth Council. So thank you so much for honoring our invitation. We're also joined by two colleagues from the National Youth Council, Secretariat, and also we're joined by Horn of Africa, Horn of Youth Africa, Horn of
Africa Youth Network.
Yes, Horn of Africa Youth Network and Africa Youth Transformation. So thank you so much for honoring our invitation. And as you can see the program, the next part was supposed to just for us to share the YSO journey. And it's very interesting, and it's good that we are fully represented by the National Youth Council. We have our very able Bonga and Chobet and the chair, of course. And the reason why I mentioned about the National Youth Council, it's very interesting. There was a time there was a National Youth Council Amendment Bill of 2019 that had been brought on board or tabled by the youth representative in Parliament, that is Honorable Gideon Keter. And we thought as young people, what can we do? What is our voice from in the formation of this National Youth Council? Because National Youth Council is out here, Vijana, and I don't want to talk about National Youth Council. I think they will come on stage to talk about the National Youth Council. But it's really for us to think about as young people, what are these platforms? Can we be able to penetrate? Can we be able to ensure that we organize and ensure that even as that National Youth Council is being formed, what would it look like? And how can it be able to advocate for our issues? How do we strengthen it as a youth serving organization, as youth groups, as youth formations? How do we ensure that all this, the National Youth Council could be able to become a very powerful institution? So that's how we started the YSO journey. And very interesting, at that time I was the civic engagement officer at Power 254. And I remember we used to have so many meetings, very early meetings. And I want to recognize Aremba Samba, who used to come very early and he used to ask me, is there Uji in that meeting? Because those meetings were very early morning meetings. And it's really 7 a.m. Your work probably starts at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. So you really have to sacrifice for this, the Youth Serving Organization Consortium. And it's really to applaud Samba and Teach, for example. They were all coming asking for Uji, is there Uji? Others were carrying Ujis from their homes because they don't want people to miss the meeting. And it's a very interesting journey of sacrifice. And I think that is something that we also need to learn how to continuously move forward as young people, that even as we come together to celebrate the Youth Serving Organization Consortium today, there's a lot of sacrifices that we must make, because there's a lot of inequalities, a lot of opportunities in terms of gap for young people, and it's really to reflect this evening and see how best do we advance the YSO consortium and even just come together as different organizations to be able to advocate for youth issues. So yeah, we started off with the National Youth Council Amendment Bill. We worked together, on the memoranda, and I remember, there was a lot of discussion about, which bill is in Parliament. Really, there were actually two bills. There was one that was done by the ministry, and then there was one that was done by MP Gideon Keter. And we sacrificed. We put that together in the memoranda, and this is how all the institutions that you're talking about here, they all sacrificed. I mean, we started a few. But all these other organizations were able to see the vision of the Youth Serving Organization Consortium. In fact, at that time, it was not even a consortium. It was just, coming in, because you serve the young people, just coming in to be able to see how much you can contribute to the memorandum. Then we submitted the memoranda to Parliament, and I remember Footprints for Change, great mobilizer. I know every organization here is unique. And it's really to appreciate that, yes, we are all doing youth work, but we are all unique in our own ways, doing things and engaging young people in our own different ways. And I remember Footprints for Change really did a good mobilization as well for the young people to be able to come present the petition. And of course, at that time, Power 254 was there, with the creative staff and people like Shiki and her colleagues also were there to be able to submit that memoranda in a very autistic way. And after that memoranda, it got a lot of traction, of course, a lot of engagement, a lot of conversations. And after that submission, we're like, okay, the end is not submitting the memoranda. How do we ensure that we actually advocate for youth issues in a coordinated way? Because otherwise, Power 254 ingefanya, VSO, Run for Office, Siasa Place, all these institutions would have submitted their memoranda. But also, thinking about the other person on the other side, they'll be like, all these youth organizations, yeah, they're all working for young people. On a certain matter like this, why can't they just submit one thing? So we reflected, and I remember at that time, the CEO, I talked to him this morning, he's in Massachusetts because of the KYDP. Also a very good opportunity for us as the Youth Summit organization to engage and to even just ensure that young people are engaged in the Kenya Youth Development Policy. And I remember the National Youth Council at that time, in the leadership of the CEO, supported us through the whole process. And I remember it was, just guiding us how government works and everything. And it's really to say that even government can still work with its own people, right? So it's, we submitted successfully, then we got back and we were like, okay, how best do we ensure that we have a coordinated effort continuously? So after that, after submitting the memorandum, we came again together. There was a discussion, there was a lot of discussion about the Biashara Fund. And I remember at that time, the Biashara Fund, there are no protocols that were being followed in terms of, they need to wind up, they need to table a report of the different funds, the Wezo Fund, the Youth Fund, and the Wezo Fund, Youth Fund, and the Women Fund. They were supposed to submit that report to Parliament. There were a lot of procedural things. And I remember at that time, we actually convened another whole conference, Biashara Fund conference, to be able to see how best we actually submit another memoranda. And that memoranda actually informed the parliamentary report. That was now again informed the current CS, not the current, Henry Rotich, that was the CS at that time. And he actually held back to do the Biashara Fund. I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me? So he held back, and Biashara Fund now is coming in, and there's a whole lot of protocol. And I remember we were negotiating what would be the percentage for young people, what would be the percentage for women, what would be the percentage for the people living with disabilities. And it's really to say that yes, we have seen impact really, because then we have very strong people in the consortium in terms of policy. We have different organizations very strong on art, for example. How do we engage young people? We have seen other organizations very strong on human rights, like Haki Africa. How do we ensure that when we are talking about, for example, access to businesses, the people who are housing is a problem. How do we ensure that all these young people can still access housing? So the YSO journey is very interesting. And as I said, after submission of the memorandum, we came together and said, okay, how do we really call ourselves? And I remember there was different conversations, different discussions. And I remember we had youth groups. We had youth groups from Kibra. We had youth groups from different parts of the country. I think we had come over 50 organizations. And I remember now we were saying, okay, so how do we call ourselves? And I think that was even a bigger discussion. We'll say, okay, this youth summit organizations, it might look like it's very structured, but it's really for us to be able to think about, they all work for young people, and when we say youth summit organizations, it's not just organizations, because we work for young people, and we are servants of young people. Even when we call ourselves youth summit organizations, it's really even that individual person can also be part of it, part of the consortium. And that's why we have Teach, we have Judy Waniki, very passionate young people, but they really want to, they have been part of the journey of the youth summit organization. And it's really to ensure that they're all serving the young people. After the Biashara Fund conversation and that very successful engagement, we also engaged in the meaningful youth engagement work that was actually brought about by WIACT, and really is to see how do we ensure that Parliament, for example, we have so many bills, we have so many policies that are being drafted. How do we ensure that Parliament of Kenya is able to be very deliberate in terms of engaging young people? And I'm happy to report today that we actually have a youth desk at the Senate, courtesy of the Youth Service Organization Consortium in partnership with WIAT. And it's really to see how do we create these opportunities. And I remember the first thing that I came up to stage, as I said, it's really for you to reflect, what is that opportunity? What is that gap that you see that can actually be an opportunity for another young person? And for us, so we are working so much, and policy, there's one person who actually said, money follows policy. And if we don't penetrate into these systems, we will probably be left out. There's so many bills that come in place, policies, and we thought about how do we create a system in a way that youth voice will be heard. And I remember we engaged with the clerk of the jailer committee, and he actually advised us. As the youth and organizations, you guys you've done one big thing that this country has never had, having a coordinated youth voice. And he told us, you need to engage the clerk of the National Assembly at that time. And actually, as I speak right now, any engagement in Parliament, leave alone now the youth desk that is in the Senate, any engagement that is in Parliament, the clerks of the committee actually reach out to the consortium to tell us, this is the bill that's coming up, we need your submissions, this is the deadline, please work on it. And it's really to say that that has seen us engaging in so many bills in Parliament, and we've seen a lot of progress. And it's, this evening, I don't want to speak so much because this was not a speech session, but it's really for us to think about in your own space, in your own. I know we have government here, we have different partners. How best do we ensure that? Even as we support individual organizations, how do we support coordinating functions within organizations? Because we cannot kill individual organizations. Just appreciate that these organizations are also making their way into the implementation. But how do we ensure that, even as we do the different things that these organizations are doing, how do we coordinate that? And some of these things cannot be done by one institution. And it's really to encourage us to think about how do we support the YSF consortium moving forward in 1 year. Great progress, great impact. And I think one of the things that the other day, someone reached out to me and trying to see, commissioners. I mean, what is the YSF consortium doing to ensure that they're supporting that one young person who wasn't even considered a commissioner? And I think I want to challenge Deborah this evening. Think about how do we support that young person? Because I mean, how many commissions we have, and which apart from we, I think, right? Do you have any other young commissioner? We actually don't have any other young commissioner. So it's really for us to think, how do we support these young who are qualified, who have been in those spaces, and how do we ensure that they actually make it? But also, how do we support more young people to make it to the shortlist? I mean, there are, I don't know, thousands of applications, but how do we ensure that there are more young people so that we have a big pool for us to select from? So, I don't want to take so much time to talk about the YSO journey, but it's really for me to really thank you so much for the support that you've given us throughout the journey. And we continue to commit ourselves to be able to support young people across board. At this point, just welcome back the MC of the day to take us through the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Buki, for that. It's always wonderful to hear insights from Buki. Yes, and also Samba, I'm sorry, I forgot to say that when we were starting, I remember when we were coming up with the MOU, you were there with big legal terms and I was like, hey, what the? But thank you so much. Thank you, Samba, for that. I'm so sorry, Debbie. I'm not trying to sabotage the government. I'm really sorry for that. So we'll have our next piece from Shiki before we go to the next session. We are young people, lazima tuchangamke, sanaa ni nini. Karibu sana Shiki.
Thank you so much for having me back again. Just to speak on human rights and advocacy, when we decide or we move towards advocacy, most people usually look at us as misfits. Most people don't understand why we're doing what we're doing, why we're so passionate about what we're doing, and it just goes to show that the people who are gathered here today are fearless and passionate, and they refuse to conform to the norms. So I just want to thank you, and this next piece just highlights the struggle, but then the necessity of the work that we do. Blood, tears, judgment, expectations, anxiety. The work that we do most of the time is not appreciated. Face paint, face change, partner turn competition, and now they're everywhere. Look, battlefield, dominate, mark thy territory, struggle, suffocate, how dare they take my glory. It's my turn to shine, my turn to climb, my turn to feast the fruits of my hands. They have feasted the fruits of my hands, and once delivered from my womb, they pass. Sacrificial lamb, scapegoat, the blood that is holy still washes me scarlet, the strings that move me still remind me I'm puppet. Selfish, I can admit that I have been selfish. See, I can blame it on the game, blemish on the playing surface, maybe instigating hate, tendencies of aid. You could have me toiling for a plate, take me to my grave. Dusk, dawn, night, fall, maturity. There comes a time we have to let go of these insecurities. Arms muffled, weapons down, walls crumbling, that wasn't the plan. Rebirth, restore, reawaken, move, the world is about to get shaken. And I can tell you for a fact that this world needs more misfits. Thank you. More often than not, I really like to just acknowledge and appreciate the women who have come before us and have held space for the women who are coming after them. And this is just an appreciation for the women who are in this field, just an encouragement, and to say that we see you and we appreciate every effort that you have made in the fields that you're in. Yeah. Isabel Shikanga, a woman holding a broken home, gathering pieces of a dismantled father figure. Prayers in silence, trying to be the man who ran but never stopped running. Michelle Obama, Graça Machel, Margaret Kenyatta, Ida Odinga. Women keeping the world safe for when women and girls rise, their communities and their countries rise with them. Martha Karua, Margaret Thatcher, Hillary Clinton. Women's rights are human rights, and human rights are women's rights, one and for all. Oryorogo Manduli, we cannot claim that the financial liberation of women is what has killed our men's masculinity. Miriam Makeba, Yvonne Chaka Chaka, Wangari Maathai. African women need to know that it's okay for them to be the way they are, to see the way they are as a source of strength, and to be liberated from fear and from silence. Malala Yousafzai, we cannot succeed when half of us are held back. Nina Simone, this is the world you have made, and now you have to lay in it. Maya Angelou, I am a woman phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me. Ijeoma Olua, for we are the women who work two jobs when companies won't hire our men. We are the women who march in the streets when no one else will. We are the women who clean the mess of our men and boys from the streets and scrape ourselves from the hands of abusive men and unfaithful men. We are those women. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you, Shiki, for that. Now, because of time, I think we need to go a little bit faster. Now, on our next piece, each speaker, please take max 10 minutes. So we'll go to the guest speeches. We'll have our partners. Five. Sawa. Okay, Sawa. We'll go to our partners, FIC, a representative by the name Erastus.
Good evening. My voice is big. I use it's giving me some restrictions. Good evening once more. I'm very happy to be here today. I'm here with my colleague Morris. Morris, you can say a quick hello.
Hello everyone.
Hi
again. Welcome first at FIC.
Yes, and we've been working together for a long time, but I'm also happy to see Momani here, that we've worked for many years together. And there was a time we were doing a project actually with Power on, I think it was youth, on the youth funds, right? And it was quite interesting. And I've been able to meet a lot of other people. I think, Karen, where did Karen go?
Okay, so it's really interesting to see so many people here, and Haki Africa as well, and a lot of work together and collaborated. And I represent FIC. FIC is an organization that started off working with the issue of decent work. And of course, AYT. AYT is represented here. Yes, AYT. So FIC works on issues to do with decent work and increasing youth access to the labor market, mostly economic justice and those kinds of issues. Our partner, Youth Alive Kenya, and also now, by extension, the YSO network, is very, very interesting to be able to work together on this. Before I proceed, I wanted to really recognize Marie, that I just met. Where is Marie? With the, I pointed at her and she was like, is it? It's not me. With the mask, you meet somebody and then you're not sure whether that's the same person. And I really appreciate that you're representing the CAS, Nadia. We did some collaboration with Nadia in Mombasa, the Swahili port. And I think that went very well. So I was really excited when Shippy was delivering the artistic pieces and what was going on there. And Nadia is very, very passionate about that, and really thank her for sending the representation to this consortium and everything. And I also want to appreciate Bubi, who I've met, and I'm hoping that we'll be very, very tight and close friends. They've been introduced today, the chairperson of the National Youth Council Advisory. There's a point we are also working a lot to see whether the NYC can be able to be strengthened and have the youth voice. I was just talking to my friend there about the need for the voice of the youth in terms of participation. So our interest in working with the YSO network in this project towards independent youth serving CSOs in Kenya is really about that youth voice, that togetherness. When you're together, you can push something. And Samba, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. Samba was not very he was not 100% sure that the PBO Act will be implemented, but I want to challenge him together with all of us that we will implement the PBO Act. So the Public Benefits Organizations Act, if you look at this project, at the heart of it is really to see how can we be able to push for implementation of this act so that the CSOs can be able to have an impact, the youth can be able to get a source of livelihood, and really for me the big thing is coming together and really having that impact. So FIC as a partner in this process, we will work together. We'll also see how we have a lot of experience in capacity development of organizations, and we will be able to do that and work with the network. I think the MC gave me 5 minutes, and I want to take 5 minutes. I can speak for longer, but you know, I think it starts from if you're told to do something, you do it, right? Yes. So, Madam MC, I think the 5 minutes are up. Yes. Thank you. And maybe to just say one word, one extra word. Initially, the plan was to
and I decided to just suck it up and be here. So I guess Mbuki has already spoken about YSO. Grateful for you to take the time to be here. For me, it's just to say that this has been a very ambitious dream. Over the last few days, as IBC have been launching their Voter Week, Voter Education Week, and yesterday, I was at the Electoral Justice Kenya Reforms meeting and representing the youth there as co-convener under YSO. But some of the feedback that I've received, it's frightening. It's frightening, especially for young people, considering that we have a very long time to live in this country, and we're not even sure if we're going to have elections next year. There's still debate, even though it's unconstitutional. And even the fact that we have political leadership that are forming alliances and we're not quite sure what their interests are. But I can tell you for sure, it's not the youth at the table. So we saw it fit to come together as organizations that serve young people and to put aside our interests and to put the interests of young people. So that's why it's so important that the hashtag in itself is opportunities for all youth. Because we recognize that no matter where you are, as a young person, the only thing that you're looking for right now is opportunity, and it's hard. Just today alone, I've had 5 people asking me for internships, and it hurts me to say that my office is full. It hurts me. And every time we have an opening, I receive up to 400 applications. 400. 400. I'm not talking myth, this is a reality for me and for many of you. So we as young people have to start thinking about the solutions for this country because the leadership doesn't have them. And not only that, we're navigating in a space where the challenges are unique. We're talking about a pandemic, we're talking about food security, we're talking about access to water, and we don't even have access to health. But these are the challenges that we'll have to navigate through
in this murky world. So it only makes sense for us to come together and form a lobby group, honestly, that is selflessly pushing youth interests. Everybody else has been doing it, and it's high time that youth did it, so that perhaps we can steer the country in a better direction. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jelima. Thank you for that. I don't know, is Forum C still around? Okay. Now, Government of Kenya, to show that I was not sabotaging you, please come next. Yes, on our program we have the guest speaker as our CAS, Nadia, but due to unavoidable circumstances, she couldn't make it. Now she has a representative. Okay, NYC? Okay, fine. On the Government of Kenya still, NYC, karibuni sana.
Okay. Oh. This one is working. It's working. Oh, okay. Good evening. On behalf of the Chief Executive Officer, National Youth Council, let me start by, of course, recognizing the presence of the Chairperson, Youth Advisory Board, Ms. Deborah Bubi, convener and co-convener of the YSO Consortium, representatives of all youth-serving organizations, partners present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. So, on behalf of our CEO, National Youth Council, Roy Sasaka Telewa, kindly and accept apologies from him. He has not been able to make it to this meeting because he is currently in Marsabit. There is the dissemination of the Kenya Youth Development Policy going on there. So I've been sent to represent him. My name is Elvis Mwangi Songa, the head of finance and accounts at the National Youth Council. So there's basically read out his speech. So maybe let me start by registering my pleasure for being part of this important function. I appreciate the organizers and members of this consortium for inviting us to grace this important occasion. It is a great honor. Franklin Roosevelt once said, "We can always build the future for our youth, but we cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future." As National Youth Council, we are in constant engagement with youth-serving organizations and youth to ensure that they are positively engaged in activities that mold them and promise a farm-founded future. National Youth Council is making concerted efforts to address youth empowerment, participation, and inclusivity. Our activities seek to ensure that the Kenyan youth is economically empowered, socially cultivated, and is actively engaged in decision-making in matters that affect their future. This cannot be achieved without engaging all other stakeholders. This consortium will go a long way in supporting achievement of this vision that the National Youth Council has. I appreciate the effort of all members involved in formation of this consortium, which brings with it a number of benefits to all stakeholders, including but not limited to its members, youth, and the National Youth Council. Previously, we have had successful engagements with members of this consortium and look forward to many more productive engagements going forward. National Youth Council has a responsibility of advising the government and all stakeholders on the status of the youth in the country. This is only possible if all stakeholders are engaged so as to be able to capture the effort and concerns of all those involved in youth work. Consortiums and bringing together members of same sector will ease preparation and dissemination of status of youth to all the stakeholders. This consortium has provided a structure through which its members can articulate their common need and priorities, as well as share their experiences and those of youth and present their case to policymakers at national level. We urge other youth-serving organizations to follow suit. By working together, members complement each other rather than overlap. Each organization has its strength that may not be with the other organization. Each organization brings something unique to the table, while still sharing a common interest in the challenges being addressed and coming up with solutions for the benefit of the youth. Members also have an opportunity of bringing together resources, thus involving and benefiting more youth. As Henry Ford once said, if you move forward together, then success takes care of itself. My urge to you is to have unity of purpose and harmony as you execute your various duties as a consortium so as to achieve your vision of youth together under one voice. To improve coordination, the Kenya Youth Development Policy of 2019 recommends formation of sector working groups by bringing organizations within the same sector together. This envisions easier engagement within the youth-serving organizations with similar goals and visions and help in understanding the status of youth in Kenya for timely intervention. This consortium has set good standards that can be emulated by other youth-serving organizations, since it creates structures that National Youth Council and other stakeholders can use in engagement and consultations. NYC is currently consulting its stakeholders in formation of sector working groups to help members work together as well as strengthen consultation in various sectors. We will be engaging you soon on the same. We request for your support as we form and operationalize various sector working groups. The National Youth Council Act Section 4A mandates us to regulate and coordinate activities and initiatives being undertaken by youth-serving organizations. To realize this, we are coming up with regulations that will guide us in achievement of this mandate. As a council, we count on your support throughout the process of developing this regulation as well as in operationalization of the same. Implementation of these regulations will help, among other things, in preparation of annual youth sector status report, as well as bring a platform for all stakeholders to peer review among the members, guide engagement with other stakeholders, including donors, and weed out spurious youth-serving organizations, and ensure professionalism in the youth sector. To conclude, let us all reinforce our interest to bring together our collective efforts for the interest of the youth in Kenya. I urge all other stakeholders in youth space to form good consultative and working structures and join various sector working groups once formed to ensure all Kenyan youth are empowered in all spheres of lives, irrespective of where they come from. Thank you very much. I'll take this opportunity now to invite our chair, the chairperson of the Youth Advisory Board, to make her remarks. Let's clap for her.
Fine, thank you. I'm just going to make you. All right. That's it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to be here today. I wear two hats as I stand before you. I wear the hat of the chairperson of the Youth Advisory Board, and I'm also privileged to hold brief for Madam Nadia, our Chief Administrative Secretary at the Ministry of ICT and Youth Affairs. Before I read her remarks, I'd like to make some remarks of my own. I accept the challenge. You challenged, number one, about what are we doing to push forward, to champion for the young person who has been shortlisted as one of the IEBC commissioners. Now, the fact that they have even been shortlisted, can we applaud that as a great step? Because this is a person who had faith in themselves, knew they had the credentials, and threw their hat in the ring, which is one of the things that you YSOs are encouraging and are giving the youth, creating awareness that they can do that. So for that, I congratulate you, and I also congratulate the committee that saw that this person has the capability to be one of the commissioners, because there were a lot of applicants, but one of our young people made it, and that is a good step, as it is. So we are aware of that, but we also cannot be seen to interfere in the selection. We can champion, we can encourage, we can speak positive messages, which we are doing not only under the Youth Advisory Board, but specifically under the National Youth Council. So it is happening, and thank you for highlighting and making me speak about it. Secondly, you spoke about sacrifices, and it is true. I'm sure each and every organization that is represented here today and that took the initiative to come together and form this consortium sacrificed. There is one thing you gave up. There is one thing you decided, let me hold off on this. Let me allow this other organization to be the voice on that. You spoke about something also that is quite interesting. In 2019, there were 2 bills in Parliament on amendment of the National Youth Council. One of those bills was going to fire me, the Youth Advisory Board. It was going to do away with it. And I was part of that conversation. And I championed it because I felt if this is the way that the ministry sees, that we take away this body and allow the youth to be better represented at the council, then so be it. So I sat in all those meetings and I gave my deliberations and my proposals on how to transition the board out. So that is part of sacrifice. But as fate would have it, Honorable Keter's bill is the one that ended up in the floor of Parliament and now currently awaiting Senate. So the board survived, and thanks to God for that. Now, finally, to pick up on what one remark that Songa has said, when you read the National Youth Council Act, the first function of the council is to coordinate the activities and programs relating to youth that are carried out by youth groups, youth-serving organizations, and bodies like the ones represented here today. So what you have done as the consortium to come together is really a great effort, because you are making our work of working together with you as a youth-serving organizations much easier. And as the voice of the youth, as recognized by the National Youth Council Act, it is going to be so much easier to hold hands with a consortium that is speaking one voice and with one intention of making the youth in this country greater, better, and more empowered and more aware of their rights and responsibilities. And finally, you also mentioned about strengthening the National Youth Council. With the recent appointment of the members of the Youth Advisory Board by the Cabinet Secretary, Joe Musheru, one thing that the Cabinet Secretary is really keen on is ensuring that the National Youth Council is constituted as provided for in the Act. The Act provides for representation of eight young members, 8 who are elected and 8 who are nominated. So as we speak, the Cabinet Secretary is waiting for one thing only, for the regulations on how the elections will be conducted to be gazetted. Once that happens, the youth in this country will get an opportunity to carry out elections to appoint their representatives to the council. And it will start from the grassroots level all the way to the National Youth Congress level here in Nairobi. So the YSOs represented here today and those who are partnering with this consortium, please, once these regulations are gazetted, we will call on you to help us champion to help us mobilize the youth to register as voters and also throw their hats in the ring to be these young people who will sit and put themselves up for election and also be the ones to now start challenging the other government bodies to ensure there is youth representation in each and every, for example, parastatal or ministry in this country. And with that, that is the conclusion of my remarks as the chairperson of the Youth Advisory Board. And I will now move to the Honorable Chief Administrative Secretary's remarks. She has a very brief speech, which I would like to read in its entirety because it's quite profound and gives a very good and positive message. And so she starts by acknowledging that she's quite honored to have been invited to grace this occasion, and it gives me great pleasure to be part of this very important event to launch and oversee the signing ceremony of the Youth Serving Organizations Consortium. This initiative is very commendable because it brings together the collective efforts for the interest of the youth in Kenya, and it is very instrumental in supporting and advancing the youth work. The Ministry of ICT, Innovation and Youth Affairs acknowledges this network's efforts in unifying the diverse youth voices through strategic collaboration and partnerships with different stakeholders to ensure meaningful and inclusive youth participation in the development process. Ladies and gentlemen, young people are the life and the heartbeat that keep a nation on its toes. On the strength, energy, skills, and creativity of youth, countries are built and generations are secured. Kenya is no different because the youth constitute the majority of our population. However, young people are still underrepresented and largely marginalized when it comes to participation in political and socio-economic development processes due to socio-cultural and economic barriers, lack of proper organization, empowerment, and societal attitudes. Unfortunately, young people are not aware of the importance of their participation in national issues and exhibit general apathy. And due to the lack of this meaningful participation, issues that impact the youth, such as health, education, social protection, and economic opportunities, are not prioritized during key processes, such as the development of the national budget, planning statements, and county integrated development plans. This has resulted in very limited opportunities sometimes for the youth to engage, thus promoting a lot of disillusionment and a sense of detachment. Young people are diverse in so many ways, but one thing that brings us together is opportunities. No matter where a young person comes from, their background or their upbringing, they just want to be able to exercise their constitutional rights, and that is an opportunity to life. An opportunity to be engaged in transforming their lives and that of their communities. If and when we have an engaged and empowered Kenyan youth, we will bridge a lot of the inequalities. We will attain the highest standards of living for Kenyans, and we will secure a future for this country to a middle-income country on an upward trajectory. It is therefore quite critical that various development sectors provide opportunities and a conducive environment for youth to build a future for themselves and for the benefit of our nation. Opportunities to collaborate in providing opportunities for youth to harness and optimize their potential are limitless. For instance, through the Chief Administrative Secretary's office, a national platform dubbed the Kenyan Imimi Campaign was formed. It was formed to enable young people to take the lead in shaping and driving the youth agenda. The campaign, which was endorsed by His Excellency the President, promotes youth participation by empowering young people to occupy leadership spaces that amplify their representation and create opportunities for them to consolidate their contribution in nation building and the well-being, nation building and their well-being economically, politically, and socially. With opportunities such as this, youth find a rare chance to make a difference in their lives and those of their fellow citizens. The Ministry of ICT and Innovation and Youth Affairs, under the leadership of our Cabinet Secretary, Joe Musheru, undertakes strategic actions that harness young people's potential to actively participate in these processes. We therefore, as a ministry, welcome the formation of the Youth Serving Organizations Consortium. Creation of a platform where young people come together to harmonize their efforts and strategize on providing solutions to challenges and creating opportunities for more young people to excel is very commendable. We encourage other organizations to collaborate by creating synergies and collectively working with the existing structures within government, such as the National Youth Council, to promote active citizenry among the youth that will transform this country. Let us keep the spirit of partnership alive across government, with non-governmental organizations and development partners up to the lowest levels in the communities. And with those few remarks, it is now my great honor and pleasure to launch the Youth Serving Organizations Consortium and to invite the members to sign their Memorandum of Understanding. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Deborah Bubi, for that great speech. And of course, your personal remarks were very powerful. And I think I want you to oversee the whole process of the signing ceremony. And I'll just hand you over one of the MOU. And you could just invite each and every of the organizations to come up on stage, and then
Elgon Young Professionals.
yes, please have a seat.
Have a seat.
Yes.
Okay, have a seat. Emerging Leaders Foundation. Footprints for Change. Footprints for Change. Okay, Global Platform Kenya. Haki Africa. Power 254. Run to Serve. Siasa Place. Tribeless Youth, Voluntary Services Overseas, Youth in Action, Y Act, Youth Alive Kenya, Youth and Success Association. Glad to see that the 2/3 gender rule is reflected in those signing the. So I guess everybody could go ahead and open the signature page, which I'm assuming is the last page. Okay, from page 15. And you may go ahead and sign on your part and pass along the memorandum to the end of the page. the end of the table.
Thank you so much, Ms. Deborah Bubi, for overseeing the signing ceremony. And I think as African culture, we celebrate with a cake. Is it Africa or Western? I don't know which one it is. So we'll just have a cake coming up as they exchange the different booklets. So this is momentous. This is momentous. I mean, we are the youth serving organization, the first in Kenya, the first youth-led and youth-serving organization consortium in this country, and this means a lot. This really means a lot for this country. And yeah, we are excited we actually got to get to this point, and I know we are moving far. I don't want to do the next agenda, but I know we'll have an impact in this country for sure. So as I'm speaking like this, I'm waiting for the cake to come so that we celebrate the great, the consortium, the commitment that all these organizations have made today. And it's very interesting that, there are two things that I want to bring to your attention, Ms. Deborah. Two things. And one of them is that they have committed to create synergies amongst themselves, amongst the young people, and really say that they, by themselves, are very powerful institutions. But then how do we put aside our own egos, our own ukubwa, and really work together? The other one is to strengthen advocacy and innovation amongst the youth serving organizations to see how best do we serve the young people in this country. So just a highlight of the MOU, and now the cake is here. So just allow Ms. Deborah Bubi again to come and help us celebrate this cake together. Sorry? That's fine.
now. I take back my words. I was not joking. I'm serious. Can you take a piece home?
There's a real cake, guys, and it's saying congratulations, YSO. I mean, this is an amazing milestone. So congratulations to all of you. And of course, in the remarks of Ms. Deborah, she said that the ministry has recognized us, and just to encourage us also to keep working for the young people. Yeah.
Chebet, join us in cutting the cake. NYC. We can never leave NYC out of the picture. They are the voice. Yes. Life is too small. Now, okay, just oh yes. They said that the touching part is no longer. So are we singing or we just cutting?
Just you don't have an anthem yet.
Okay, no anthem for the consortium yet. I hope as a chief guest, I hope I get the biggest piece. I have a very sweet tooth.
Cool. Thank you.
Congratulations, guys. Yes, we will need a
have the pieces of cake, I'll just invite Michael to officially take over the next, in few minutes, to take the next session.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before I do my call-outs, I want to recognize one of our partners who's just walked in. And because of their very, very generous and support, they've been supporting the youth sector. I want to recognize Catherine from AMSIV. And I want to welcome you to say, in 2 minutes, just a few remarks. Let's appreciate her as she comes.
Thank you, Michael. Good evening, everyone. My apologies for coming in when the cake is just about to be eaten. I think that's the best part of the function, yeah? So I'm happy to be here today. As for AMSIV, working with the Ojibwe program. I think I must say that I'm excited. When I just walked in and I was given the program, and one of the things that has excited me is seeing names of the partners that we work with, Siasa Place, Haki Africa, Power 2x4, youth alive. So that shows that I'm in the right place. And for Stve's work within the Wajibwetu program, the youth are at our heart. So I think looking at you, young people, you know, forming a consortium and starting this strategy, I think is very good, it's very commendable. So I just want to really, I think, congratulate you, clap for yourselves for that good effort, and saying that this is very, very timely, because we all know the phase which we are going into now, and the role that young people play, and then how young people are used in different ways, you know. Young people are connectors. Young people, again, as we connect, we are used in different ways, positive, both, and negative. So it's more than important at this point that young people are organizing themselves. You have a common voice and you're able to speak together. So I think for me, what I want to call for is consistency in what you have begun. I was given 2 minutes, Michael. Is that done? Because I can speak the whole evening. Consistency. Cindy, consistency in what you're going to be doing. And let's see how we are going to move this strategy into action. And how do you do that? It means, again, looking at partners who are here. How can we work together? For Stve, we are youth-friendly. We try. We listen, we work with you, we provide opportunities. So I think today I just want to give our commitment in terms of how we still want to work with young people. And if you're consistent and you show results, we continue working with you. Those who are here, our partners, can testify that. And so I just want to encourage you to continue working together and take advantage of those stakeholders who are able to support you. Okay? So I don't want to say much because I think it's almost the end of the evening, but just to congratulate you, and I hope to walk this journey with you. There are so many opportunities that can come up as we work, but my prayer is that this will not remain in our shelves. You know, we will go live, we will put them somewhere, and then 1 year later we'll come back and review it. That's what we always do, yeah? After a year we say it's mid-review. Then we say another strategy. So I hope that you are young people who are going to make a difference and then be able to walk the talk. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Mine is very simple. Just like Mbuki and Nerima shared in the journey of the YSO, when we began, we couldn't imagine that we will end up at a place like this. We were almost like 4 organizations meeting, strategizing. But now, at least we've made some progress, as you can see behind me. And I want to encourage other young people, other youth-serving organizations or youth-led organizations to be part of the team. So let me just quote something before I do the call-out. Psalms 133, verse 1 says, "Behold, how good it is for brothers to dwell together in unity." And just knowing from our history as a country, we know the youth have numbers. We are the majority. But when it comes to translating that majority to something tangible for the youth, then there's a problem. And the problem is because the youth, the history of the youth in Kenya is that of a fragmented sector. But today's ceremony challenges all that. We are beginning a fresh start. We want to claim our stake at the decision-making table. And to do that, we have to do 2 things. One, we have to have structure, a structure, because I know government, when you go to negotiate with the government, they ask you, who are you? Yeah? What structure do you have? Who do you speak for? And then secondly, do you have numbers? Because truth be told, without numbers, you cannot influence anything. You have to have numbers behind you. So this is the beginning of the youth being structured as a sector, and this is the beginning of the youth rallying together and bringing the numbers together under the YSO consortium and speaking together, bringing the youth together under one and speaking with one voice. And even though we are now 15 organizations, our vision is that we should reach all corners of this country. There are so many youth-led and youth-serving organizations that are working and doing something for the youth. And ours is to call out. We want you to come and join us. The YSO consortium is very diverse. We have organizations that that are invested in the health sector, others in education, others in democracy and governance, others in human rights. There's like the way they say uko binguni, there's a mansion for everyone. There's room for everyone. But let me use the common matatu saying, bado kuna space ya mtu mo? So I want to reach out to urge other youth-led and youth-serving organizations to come and be part of the youth-serving organization consortium. And joining us is very easy. Now that the hard work has been done, it's simply reaching out to us. All the organizations that are here have signed a memorandum of understanding that binds us towards certain things, commits us towards doing certain things together. So that is all we need. For you to be part of us is you reach out to us, then the secretariat will find a way of sending the MOU to you. And then once you've gone through the MOU and you are agreeable to what is in the contents, you sign up and become a member and be active. The way Catherine has challenged us, be active in whatever you are doing. This MOU commits us to do certain things. And those things are the ones that will either make or break the youth sector moving forward. So I just want to share briefly the email that you can reach us through. That is youthvoices@yso.or.ke for those of us who are watching me virtually. And on Twitter, we are at YouthServingKE. And on Facebook, we also at Youth Serving Organization, YSO Kenya. So either of those mediums, you can reach out to us and the Secretariat will definitely respond to you. Or we can reach out to any of the partner organizations that we have here, and then they will be able to link you to the consortium as it is. So ladies and gentlemen, that is my call. Let us come together and ensure that the youth of Kenya have their rightful space in the decision-making structures of this country. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much. For a second, nilikuwa nimechujwa kidogo. You've missed me here on stage, right? Yeah, so we are moving to the last item on our program. And before that, it's important to just let you know that out of you guys, one organization has already reached out. They want to be part of the consortium, Border Hub. Yes, so we'll have the vote of thanks by our deputy co-convener, Davis.
Oh. Should also sanitize my thoughts. Hello, everyone. Let me just remove this, please. It's a pleasure to be here with everyone. A round of applause, first of all, to the whole team. Yes, so my work here is quite easy. Just to say thank you. Thank you. Asanteni sana to all of you. So first of all, I'd like to pay thanks to all our partners. These are the friends of youth serving organizations, as well as the donors or the supporters of youth serving organizations from far and wide. Thank you so much for working with us. I think this is a testament that, we are committed to bringing our voices together, that we are committed to bringing change and creating bigger and better impact together. Because, as the saying goes, Divided what? Divided we fall, together we rise, we stand. Yes, I told you that one. Yes, so this is our commitment to you and to everyone here, out there. And I want to thank, first of all, I think some of our partners who are here. I think some of you might not know. We are just gotten some support to the YSO Consortium to implement a project, and that's what we call them, towards independent youth serving organizations, having been supported by the Forum for International Cooperation. And because, as I think First has mentioned, it's a belief that, you know, coming together is where the value is. We can create bigger and better impact together. So I just want to thank FIC, represented here. I know they might also be watching from Denmark, and also to the Danish government for that support through the Civil Society Fund, CISO. I also want to thank the friends of YSO. Some of them are here, Mr. Momani, and people who are, you know, invited here, who have come here. Thank you so much for working with us this journey, and this is just the beginning. Trust me, as it has been mentioned, putting pen to paper is just the beginning. The hard work goes in now actually gelling together. The next I'd like to thank is the people of the Fourth Estate who are represented here. Thank you so much for your time. We believe that this was broadcast live. I know it's going to be on CNN. But if it's not on CNN, we'll take also local channels. So thank you also for coming and showcasing the world, you know, that the youth in Kenya are coming together. I also want to thank Charlene. She's been a great entertainer, yes? Yeah, and all the artists who have been here. Thank you to Power 254 for organizing this. Thank you for all the powerful words that you've inspired us with. For all our viewers watching from, which camera should I look? All our viewers joining in from different parts of the country as well as different parts of the world. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for working with us. Again, we are committed to working together as youth serving organizations to serve the interests of the youth in this country. I want to thank the Government of Kenya. Government of Kenya represented here by the National Youth Council and also by the State Department and as well as the Ministry of Youth. I think without you providing the enabling environment, without you working with us, we cannot be anything. So for us, it's also a commitment that we're also willing and ready to work with you. I think as we come into your doors, we'll not be coming in as Youth Alive Kenya, we'll not be coming in as Power 254, as YASA. We are coming in as youth serving organizations because we believe that by coming together, we create a more powerful voice. I think a powerful voice like mine, right? Yeah, so thank you so much for making time, Madam Bobby, representing the CS and the CS. Thank you so much time to everyone. And also, please take our greetings back to the CS, to the CAS, to the whole ministry, as well as to the NYC when you go back. Please pass our regards. I think, I don't know if I'm forgetting anyone, but I think my biggest thanks is to the youth serving organizations represented here. It is because of you that we are here. It is because of you that we are all convened here. So I want to thank all of you for putting, as I think Naima said, putting aside our personal interests to come up with a collective, to come up with something that, you know, we can actually rally behind together and create a bigger impact and actually, you know, be the voice of the youth and bring the voice of the youth. We have said the youth are the majority. We always say that the youth are not given space. They're not meaningfully engaged. So this is our opportunity to engage the youth meaningfully in this country. It's an opportunity to work together. We've done a lot. I think Mbuki highlighted that. But honestly, I think by us making this commitment in front of everyone here and in front of God, so please, let's show our commitment, show our resolve. Let's not come 1 year down the line. Tunauliza hata MOU ilikuwa. Where is the MOU? What did you agree to cooperate on? So let us continue working. And honestly, I know we have a group and we are very vocal, even just through social media. But let us support each other. Let us work with each other. Let's rally behind each other. And I think that's how we can be able to create meaningful change in this country. So thank you, all of you. I'd like to leave you with words from someone who remains in exile, that we need to mobilize, we need to organize, we need to galvanize, and remain focused. Viva! Yes, I know many people are going to Varsha, so you know these are young Turks. So if you're going to Varsha, please be responsible and enjoy your time over there. Thank you so much. This is not ending from here. We are having a session just outside where we can be able to just mingle and interact and get to know each other better. So asanteni sana, may God bless you. May you have a beautiful weekend and let's work together. Asanteni.
Maybe we can have a photo with Miss Deborah. The photo. Final photo.
Smile. I hope camera can see.